What's going on, gacha lovers, service lovers, RPG lovers? So this is going to be my first ever gacha cover. I skipped Genshin Impact, but I don't want to skip this game. I did play Tower Fantasy and I played Star Rail, so I love those games. But I've been gaming since the '90s, so RPGs are nothing new to me. So expect me to be in here a lot. I'm going to be all in this game. I'm going to play other ones as well. But a character that I like and that I see, obviously there's other ones too that I like, is Calcharo. So for those of you that even didn't get to play the beta and don't even have, obviously still don't have access to it, I myself don't as well. I'm going to be teaching you how this character works, what his rotation is, why things make sense on this site, which you see right here, Weather and Lab. It's a good site. And why he's, of course, double S tier here. And he's also one of the free ones you're going to be able to pick at launch. If you didn't do the Wuthering Waves event yet, I recommend doing that so you can get your free echo, because that's very important. But yeah, let's go down here so I can tell you guys what I'm talking about. Oh, first things first. So at level 90, you can see his stats right here. I like that they allow you to do that. This is basically what he's going to be looking like. So all you do is just turn it right here. Very simple. But going down, this is his basic attack. So his basic attack ties into a heavy attack as well. And remember, he's Electro. So what type of team you want? Team that helps him do more electricity damage. Like Yinlin, and there's some people that are saying Verena is good, but I feel like if you're good enough and you have a master and you don't get hit that much, Yinlin would be better. I'll get into that in a second though, but let's go to his basic attack. So you can go down here to the multiplier and see that his basic attack has 4 parts. Then he has a heavy attack. And the heavy attack consumes stamina. He has a mid-air attack damage, mid-air stamina consumption, which I don't think you need to focus too much on mid-air unless it's necessary. But the most important thing is this right here, the heavy attack, and the dodge counter. Why dodge counter? Well, because let's explain it like this. Let's just say somebody's playing a game, they are dodging correctly, but they're not getting in that lick every time they dodge. If you're doing a 7-minute boss fight, and let's just be real here, the person who's just dodging, and you may beat him compared to the person who's dodging, getting that lick in every time, he's going to do a lot more damage than you. And I think that's where you can really start to get the mastery down. We're not saying everyone needs to do this day one, but it's very important to understand that use basic attack after a successful dodge to attack the target, dealing electro damage. You have dodge counter damage, and it tells you right here. It's a 33 to 42.99%. And there's going to be another way to increase this, and we're going to get down to that. So you see that he has 4 string basic attacks. Now going down to the next move, this ability called Extermination Order, very important. You can do this 3 times, and it does electricity damage. Now, let's read this very carefully because this is important. If this character is switched, or Resonance Skill Extermination Order is not repeated in a while, it would be put on the cooldown. That means you missed opportunity. So you don't want to do that. Now, what's interesting about this is that it tells you Resonance Skill Extermination Order does not reset your basic attack stage. How did I read this? Well, let me tell you what that means. That means that this is going to be a rotation, and this is the beginning of your rotation. Think about it. Your basic attack is not reset, so they're telling you to combine them together. So if we see right here, this has 4 basic attacks, and this has 3. Obviously, you don't want to just do 4 basic attacks, and you don't want to just do 3 here. You want to do 1 here, 1 there, 1 here, 1 there, 1 here, 1 there. And then you have hit the full rotation between the two because they're not resetting each other. Now, let's go ahead and like I said, if you guys want to see the math here, you could just do this too. And it'll go all the way up to 15. You can see that too, which is actually really nice. I think that's cool. But knowing that already, now we understand that these two align together. These two. You do not separate them. So what's interesting about that too is going down to this next ability. So what do we do after that? Well, watch this right here. If we look at Phantom Etching, which is Resonance Liberation, this is Extermination Order. Calcharo attacks the target, dealing electro damage and enters Death Blade Gear state. That means if you cast this ability, you do that. Obviously, you don't want to do that first, and I'm going to explain why. After Resonance Liberation Death Blade Gear state ends, Calcharo's next intro skill is replaced with intro skill necessary means. We'll get to that in a second. That's not as important as what I'm about to get to, which deals electro damage considered as intro. You know, intro is coming in, you know, to fight. Outro is getting out. So in, out. Just think of it like that. Deathblade gear. Basic attack is replaced with basic attack Hounds Roar. What does that mean? This right here is your basic attack. It has now been replaced when you hit this button. That's why it's important to do this rotation first. And I'll explain why, because you're going to get some buffs with that. And then your basic attack is now replaced into a 5-part state. You don't have 4 attacks now you have 5. And if you look at these multipliers, this is definitely stronger. Another interesting thing is what it tells you right here. Dodge counter damage is increased, considered as resonance liberation damage, which is right in here. You go down, it's 28.67% with the star 6 next to it. So let's think about that, guys. It's like I said before. Now you can do 5 attacks while countering back and forth. So what you're going to want to do is after you hit this rotation right here, and they're going to explain this to you too. I'm going to get to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You hit this 3 times. You cast this, and then you get 5 basic attacks. And then you spam those 5 basic attacks because you now, as it says right here, Hounds Roar performs up to 5 consecutive attacks dealing electricity damage, considered as basic attack damage. Obviously, you want to use that because when that activates, you have a cooldown till it goes away. And then it says right here, it's 20 seconds, right as you use that. So right there, we already get the idea of what the rotation is going to be like. And when that comes up again, you hit it again, and then you hit 5 consecutive attacks again with Calcharo. You don't have to have the beta. This is understanding it through text. And this is good because everyone's going to understand this. You can go watch a video and see somebody do it, but to understand how it works, it's different compared to just imitating someone. Trust me, you want to understand and get to know the character. It's better that way. Because whatever they add into that, you have the foundation and you understand the basics. And that's why somebody like me is going to be doing that to help people out. Because you master the basics, then you could just go to anything after that, and it's very important. So one thing you'll notice about Calcharo is that electro damage is very important. In this game, I noticed by coming in that elemental damage is incredibly important, or fusion damage, whatever they call it. So we're going to get to the intro skill necessary means in a second, but that's not important right now. So now we understand that. Now going down, I think this is considered ultimate. So heavy attack mercy. This is another state, by the way. When Calcharo has 3 cruelty, and we're going to explain how to get cruelty, his heavy attack is replaced with heavy attack mercy. When casting heavy attack mercy, he consumes 3 cruelty to deal electricity damage. There we go again with electricity damage. Considered as heavy attack damage, and recovers energy and concerto energy. So you're getting resonance energy back, resonance liberation, and you're getting concerto energy back. So what's interesting about this, and this may confuse you, but I'm going to clear this up and help you guys out. Calcharo can hold up to 3 cruelty, but under resonance liberation death blade gear state, he cannot have cruelty and mercy because they go together. Now, that's kind of confusing, right? Because like, what the hell does that mean? We'll get to that. Because if you go right down here, and we can click on this to see what this means right here. This is death messenger damage. This is mercy damage. This is energy regen for concerto. And this is energy regen for death messenger, which is liberation. And then we can just see this stuff right here. Now, if we go down here, it goes back into heavy attack again. But this is heavy attack death messenger. So that means right here. Heavy attack mercy, you want me to tell you what that really adds into? And that's these 2 right here, and I'm going to explain why. So let's take a look at this. When Calcharo has 5 killing intent, let's think about that 5. What made us get 5 instead of 4? Well, I told you guys about that right here. Hounds Roar. So, Hounds Roar gives you 5 consecutive attacks. So that's why this is aligned with Death Messenger that gives you 5 consecutive attacks. When Calcharo has 5 killing intent, his basic attack is replaced with heavy attack. Same thing, Death Messenger, which is aligned with that. And this is aligned with the beginning rotation. I'll get to that in a second and why. When casting heavy attack Death Messenger, Calcharo consumes 5 killing intent to deal electricity damage, considered as resonance liberation damage. That's how you know this is tied into Hounds Roar. And recovers energy and concerto energy, as they told you earlier. This also does that too, but it's aligned with something different. Now, killing intent, as it was telling you before, under Resonance Liberation Death Blade Gear State, Calcharo's Forte gauge is replaced with Killing Intent. So you're going to have a 4-bar gauge with him, but when you go into Killing Intent, it's going to go up to 5 and it fills up. So you could be able to spam it down. On basic attack, Hounds Roar, you see, that's how you know that this is tied into Hounds Roar, and this right here is tied into Extermination Order and All in Fang's rotation. But they're all going to align with each other, and it'll be explained in a second. I know they don't tell you that, but that's why I'm here to help you guys understand it. And I appreciate it, sub guys, because it would definitely help grow this channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff for this game. So yeah, when basic attack Roar hits the target, Calcharo gains 1 killing intent. So that means after you have that meter, by hitting it 5 times, you could get a 5-bar killing intent, and then you'll burn it down. And that's how you get it back. Now, the interesting thing is, let's go down to here. When casting heavy attack Mercy, Calcharo's Resonance Liberation damage bonus is increased by 10% for 15 seconds. Resonance Liberation. So you're like, wait, what? Because Mercy and Cruelty cannot be applied in Liberation Death Blade Gear State. Right? Well, that's when you know when to use it and when not to use it. So when you get that buff, then you can use it with that buff. You see, because they're not aligned. They're meant to be used separately and full benefits. And if we go down here, when Heavy Attack Death Messenger, not Mercy, hits the target, the damage taken by Calcharo is reduced by 15% for 5 seconds. One thing I'm going to tell you about this, guys, is that the only reason you're going to worry about this is if you're like an elite, hardcore, badass player. Because 5 seconds is a very short cooldown compared to 15 seconds of damage. And it's going to be to where it's like, man, I struggle on this part of the boss, and I feel like he's going to hit me. Or I'm surrounded by a bunch of like ads or, Anaboss or whatever. Who knows when this is going to come up. And you know how to keep that tracked in your mind. You would want to, master this right here. Other than that, honestly, I wouldn't let it drive you too crazy to worry about it. I'd be focused more on this right here to dish out as much damage as possible. Because once you get good at dodging, you're going to be all right. But if you feel like there's something that you always struggle on, then maybe you want to consider thinking about this when you're in Death Messenger mode. So let's go back to what I was going to say earlier about intro. All right, so there's going to be something that you do that's going to replace Wanted Outlaw with Necessary Means. Because this is the intro skill right here. You see there's 2 intro skills. There's this, and I'm going to tell you why this is passive and it's a switch. Because this can be switched out with Necessary Means. Let's go up. And it's right here in Resonance Liberation. It says right here in front of you, Calcharo attacks the target, dealing electro damage, and enters Death Blade Gear State. After Resonance Liberation Death Blade Gear State ends, and you could be going into Mercy mode, his next intro is replaced with intro skill Necessary Means. You see that? That's how you activate that. So that you don't get confused and understand what does it mean by switch skill, because you could switch it into Necessary Means as you're leaving out of the Deathblade Gear State, and you can go into this right here with Cruelty and Mercy. And then another one is Shadowy Raid. Calcharo summons, and this is an outro skill, so out, not in. Summons phantoms to support the resonator, clearing the targets in front with a slash. The phantom attack deals electricity damage, so you just keep on seeing electricity damage, equal to 195.90% plus 291.96% of his attack. So the higher your attack, the more it's going to benefit that outro skill and turn it into electricity damage. That is important. Definitely like if you're going to switch out and go to somebody like Yin Lin and you're doing damage and you do a lot with her, and then you come back in and then buff him and come in with that intro skill and stuff like that. You'll start to get the idea about the in and out as you just play and experiment with the game. But you're wondering, how do I activate Shadowy Raid? I'm going to get to that. I'll go ahead and skip to this bottom one right here. When casting Resonance Liberation Death Messenger, Calcharo will summon 2 phantoms to perform coordinated attacks. Each phantom deals electricity damage equal to 100% of his attack. As we said, the attack is turned into electricity damage, which is considered Resonance Liberation damage. So I think that's going to be an important buff. So automatically, We know what it said right here is where that happens. So that right there is how you get Shadowy Raid outro skill, is by casting that. So let's talk about this. This is a chain. This is how you know the rotation that I'm telling you is also correct, because let's cover this. Convert negotiation. When resonance skill extermination order hits a target, it additionally recovers 10 resonance energy. So what that means is that you're going to be able to recover energy, but remember it has a 20-second cooldown. So after you blow through your full initial cooldown, you want to like not have that much energy. You're going to reactivate the beginning of the rotation again. This is how you know that this is where you want to do that again. And just in general, it just does it at the beginning. So you can just blow through energy at the beginning. Extermination order. So let's go to this. Where's that at? Right here, his second ability. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You hit the 3. That's how you know that this is the beginning, because it's the first of the chain. You see how this is aligned? A lot of people won't explain this to you, but I'm going to help you guys out with that. Okay, let's go to sequence 2. After Calcharo casts his intro, so you're going into the field with that. Intro skill wanted criminal or intro skill necessary means. That's why it's a switch skill. His resident skill bonus damage is increased by 30% for 15 seconds. Don't worry about keeping too much track of this, because as you're doing these sequences, these buffs are going to track with you. But they're telling you what it actually does, so it helps. If you want to be very nerdy and hardcore and be elitist, obviously you want to know all this type of stuff. For the average player, free play player that wants to like clear stuff and not get too into it, this will activate for you, but just to know this, I mean, it is nice. So 3. During the Residence Liberation Death Blade Gear state, Calcharo's Electro damage bonus is increased by 25%. Guys, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are you casting after that? Why is this in sequence 3? Because this is the third part of the rotation. Yes, right? So if we go up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you can get those 3 skills and they go back and forth. Then you hit this. And it just brought that up. As we go down to sequence 3, right? Residence Liberation Deathblade Gear State. Calcharo's Electro damage bonus is increased by 25%. Correct rotation. Then after that, outro. Because when you cast Liberation Deathblade Gear State, what did I say what happens when you cast that? You activate those phantoms. So now that's going to follow into this sequence 4. And guess what? Outro skill. Bonus, all team members is increased by 20% for 30 seconds out. Now y'all's damage, get all your blowouts in, and then you come back in with the intro buff. Intro skill, coming back in, wanted criminal and intro skill necessary means deals 50% more damage. When casting Resonance Liberation Death Messenger, Calcharo will summon 2 phantoms with the out. To perform coordinated attacks, each phantom deals electricity damage equal to 100%. We already seen this, but you get the sequence here. You see what I'm saying? That's how you know that rotation aligns. Because like you said, outro is right here when he summons the phantoms. There it is right there. So, build. Okay, so these are going to be farmed. That's why I'm telling you guys also to do the web event, because you're going to be able to choose against one of these 4. Honestly, if you ask me what's the best one, I say it depends on your playstyle, what you want to do between Flautis and Violet Feathered Heron. These are the 2 best ones for Calcharo in the event. You want to go over this? Let's go why. Flautis. So he gives you a physical bonus if you get the 5-piece or 2-piece, or if you try to mix 2 and 2, you'll get that. And he gives you also Void buff. So let's cover this. What is his attributes? Attack percentage, crit rate, defense percentage, HP, energy regen, and electro bonus. Do you guys want to know what's the most important stats for him? I'm just going to tell you it's not going to be defense and HP. It's going to be crit rate, attack percentage, electro bonus, energy regen. What are the 2 most important? I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Crit rate and attack percentage, and crit damage if your crit rate's high enough. And we're going to get to why crit damage is not here, and we're going to talk about that. So going down, as you see right here, 2-piece set, attack increases by 10%. Attack is important because it's 100% uptime damage on everything across the board. Electricity is obviously number 1, but attack will be right after that if you don't have full electricity. So if you're farming and you just get a full set piece of attack, obviously equip it so you can replace it with Void Thunder. And then when in effect, your attack increases by 5% every 1.5 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. So you get a 20% increase in attack, plus the 10% right there. You get 30% And outro skill damage is increased by 60%. That means your Liberation Phantoms that you summon are going to be doing 60% more damage. That's important. Void Thunder. 2-piece set, electro damage is increased by 10%. You saw how much electro damage is important. And then 5-piece. When releasing heavy attack or resonant skill, electro damage dealt is increased by 15%. On top of that, so that's 25%, and it stacks up to 2 times. So that is 30% plus 10%. So it's 40% electricity damage, and it lasts for 15 seconds of the 30%, because 10% is always there. So, I mean, 40% electricity damage? That's a lot of fucking damage. And obviously, they start off as rank 2, so let's talk about his ability. By the way, guys, it can go up to rank 5, but we know how that works. If you're a free-to-play player, it's not a big deal. Rank 2 will be good enough to be able to clear everything. He transforms, continuously emitting electro lasers, dealing 39, or pretty much 40% electro damage for a total of 10 times. And then you gain 1 concerto energy each time a hit lands. So if you hit all 10, you get 10 energy. If you miss a few, yeah, and you can do that every 15 seconds. Suggested characters with that. This is a team that I'm going to tell you is the elite team. They're going to recommend Verena, but I'm going to get to that in a second. I'd say that if you're good and you want maximum output, these 3 right here are very good because they all benefit each other with electricity damage and they buff each other. Next, we're done with him now. Let's go to Violet Feathered Heron, which I chose, and I'm going to explain why. I find Molten Rip to not be as good as the attack bonus that Floxus gives, but his ability is what makes him elite. Obviously, Void Thunder is the same thing. If we go to this, it's just fusion damage is increased, elemental damage by 10%. When releasing resonant skill, fusion damage is increased by 30% for 15 seconds. I mean, that's not bad, but think about it, he's electricity. So this is the same thing. The most interesting thing about this thing is transforms into Violent Feathered Heron and enter a parry stance. Oh yeah. Counterattack when the parry stance is over, dealing 180 electro damage. So if you're good at dodging and parrying, oh yeah. And if you want to parry more than dodge, definitely choose this. Because let me tell you something, this is not going to be up 100% of the time. So why the fuck would you be dodging when you can parry and increase your electricity damage? That's why I say that it is more elite oriented, because the other one is just doing damage, and this you have to learn how to parry, not just dodge. And you want to only parry in this because it's a 15-second parry window while you're doing so much electricity damage. And if you're attacked, you can counterattack an advantage and additionally recover 5 concerto energy. It didn't say there was a limit either. Every time you're getting back energy to waste through the energy and burn through it while countering and doing a lot of damage. Imagine fighting a boss that's rough and very aggressive, and you hit this stance during his most aggressive time. You get nothing but counters off, you know what I mean? And you're recovering energy to nuke him down even more. That's why I like Violent Feathered Heron ability. Now I'm going to tell you, you're not wrong if you want to choose Floxus and not have to deal with that. That's your playstyle, you know what I mean? But me, I chose him on the web event, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Obviously, you have other ones to go along with that, so you can have the other one in the other slot. But I'm just saying that if you have a choice of choosing right now, I'm going to go with that based off of my playstyle and how I like to play games. I master everything. I'm incredibly hardcore. And that's the route I want to go. Now, if the other one proves to be better and I feel like I can be doing a lot more damage, then I'll consider it. Who knows what's going to change? So that pretty much covers that. Now, going down to after that, obviously we see these are what you want to combine with him, and they're all Electro. So that gives you the 5-piece electro damage bonus. That's what that means. That's where you're getting the 5-piece set right here. And this is what people are going to be farming for. These are other options as well. So you can look through these if you want. And let's go to the weapon. There's other weapons too that are free to play, but they don't have them on here, so I can't really cover that because I can't see them. But that'll be covered more. Why is Autum Trace the best? I will tell you instantly why. This right here. Crit rate increased by 20.25%. Bro, that's not even anything else. That's just by itself. This is what makes it the best weapon. All this other stuff, the passives, the description down there, that's all nice, but this 20.25% crit rate is literally God tier. Because you want to know why, guys? Remember how I was saying earlier when they were showing those stats? This is where we're going to talk about stacking crit damage. Because then you could have enough crit rate, because you're going to get crit rate in other categories, so where you can have 50, 60, 70, or whatever, and then you just attack crit, add on crit damage, you're going to be doing so much damn damage. That means crit rate for everything, electricity, all of that. So nothing can compete with this item. I think it is just absolutely clear why this is the best choice for him. Yeah, find me somebody's going to beat that 20.25% crit rate. Not going to happen. So yeah, that pretty much covers that. And then of course, if you get it up to level 5, you could get almost 13% increase of attack upon dealing basic or heavy, stacking up to 5 times. It's almost 68% attack. And this effect lasts for 7 seconds and it can be triggered 1 time every 1 second. You want to get that in as much as possible. No brainer. Autum Trace is the best weapon in the game. It's not an argument. It's just a realization. You know what? It's like, yeah, I can see why you want to do that. Not here. No. Autum Trace is without a doubt it. So, Lustrous Razor, why is this number 2? Well, very clear. You get 100% uptime damage. 36.45% attack increase? And that's a 5-star. But 5-star doesn't necessarily sometimes mean, we know from playing Honkai Star World that sometimes something like, what's her face? God, I can't even forget her name with the freaking fan. She's a 4-star support, but I loved her. But yeah, she's counted still as one of the best support characters in the game. And I can't believe I don't have her goddamn name because I played the hell out of her and I loved her. But y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyways, sometimes because it's 5-star doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. Same thing with like 5-star characters. Sometimes a 4-star can be better. Definitely people know what they're doing and they build it right. So, but yeah, she's Harmony. Y'all should know. I you know, this makes me want to look it up because I'm like, oh my god, how do I not have her damn name? She was like a part of my main squad for the longest. But anyways, whatever. But that pretty much covers that. If we go down here, let's take a look at this. Increases energy regen. So you have a lot of energy regen and a lot of high attack. At level 5, you get 25.6%. But yeah, I mean, you're going to have to spend some money. And then Residence Liberation damage, which I think is one of the most important buffs for him, is can be stacked up to 2 times. So this makes this a very close second, just in terms of raw damage in general. But if somebody's critting out their ass, you're not going to be able to, keep up with that. But there you have it, guys. Oh, another thing about him too is, guess what? Crit damage. So if you have that weapon, he's giving you that crit damage that you need and not crit rate. So it just depends on what weapon you have. Because another thing I'm going to tell you about that weapon is very important is it's a part of the pass. If you're not spending money, you're not going to get it. So if you're a free-to-play player, you're going to want to go for the other options. And there's another one that's like if you're above 80% HP, just remember this. That's a really good one to choose. And obviously some people were saying that Verena would be very good because she would keep you topped out and you would never be below HP. So you'd be able to benefit from that. And guess what? They're right. There's nothing wrong with that. And if people want to have her in their team, not everyone has to be elite. You know what I mean? This is for everyone to understand. I'm not necessarily making an elite build, but I can give you the choice. If you want to go down that route, you can do that. But if you don't want to do that, we want to cover the free-to-play players too, because there's going to be a lot more of those. So you want to kind of help out everyone. So that's why I think that it's important to cover multiple options and then let people know that don't get your hopes up thinking you're going to get that weapon if you're not planning on spending any money. Definitely if you're a Calcharo lover, guys, that's part of the pass banner. So if you want to get that best weapon, you are going to have to spend some money. So there it is right there. And the last time this was updated was May 8th. So more things could change, but what's not going to change is understanding how he works. Math can change, but once you understand the foundation, you're just adding math to it. That's why I wanted to help everyone understand how he works, because I know he's going to be a popular character. I saw about the Sephiroth stuff. I could see that attraction, you know what I mean? But most importantly, I'm interested in him because I like those type of characters. There's other ones I'm interested in as well, but I want to cover him because I know we'll be able to select him. So guys, don't forget to do that web event. Just type in Wuthering Waves web event, sign up, get in there, share your stuff on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to them on YouTube, all that type of stuff. Share your echoes. You can share with people and still keep them, and you'll be able to get, what you need ahead of time. But this pretty much is the deep dive that I wanted to cover for that. All right, guys, remember, this is my first one. Hopefully I did well. Peace out. Everyone have a good day. See you guys at launch. I'll be covering more stuff.